this video is going to show the guidelines for graded materials, and this will help you as the course developer when you're planning how you want to have different types of assessments and graded materials into your different lesson structures. All right, so in general, we're going to just try to keep a consistent naming scheme for graded materials. This is going to help us as we roll courses over from year to year. All right, so in general, for your formative assessments, we want to have the naming scheme where we have the unit number and lesson number in front of the label that goes along with that graded item. All right, then what we're going to do is we're going to use the labels such as assess, create, or share, and those will just tell you the type of thing, and the students will just learn these are the types of things that I will be doing. And then you're going to try to include 2 to 4 of these type of assessments into each week that are separate from the attendance check-ins. So we'll talk about what the attendance check-in looks like here as we move forward. All right, so these are the things that we're planning for. And then obviously we want you to put like guidelines for what's expected within those assignments, whether you just list these are what I'm looking for, or if you actually put a rubric in if there's some sort of open-ended item as well. All right, so then as part of setting up the assignment, you're going to have to know what category to put it in. So at Cedar Crest High School, we use the assessment category, which is 70%. We have the classwork/homework category, which is 10%. And then we have the marking period exam category, which is 20%. The assessment category is going to be used for the C3 for all the formative assessments that don't include the attendance check-ins. So these can be shorter quizzes, these could be essays, these could be labs, or these could be some sort of small scale projects or other activities that I missed when I'm describing this. All right, so examples of what these would be labeled are, I would have, for the first one, I have 1.1 assess, and then I leave it blank for the name, and then I put 10 minutes. What that translates to is Unit 1, Lesson 1, assessment, and then it's going to take the student approximately 10 minutes to complete. The next one I have is 3.5 create. What that means is it's Unit 3, Lesson 5, and they're going to create something, whether it's a project, whether it's a lab, whether it's an essay. They're going to be creating something that they're going to be turning in, and then it'll take them approximately 25 minutes to complete. And then the last one, 2.3 share, is just Unit 2, Lesson 3 share, which means they're going to be doing some sort of discussion. So this could be a written discussion on Schoology, or it could be a video discussion potentially on a tool like Flipgrid. All right, so those are just examples of how I would label those types of things regardless of what I use within Schoology to be able to collect the student work. The next category is the marking period exam. This counts for 20% of the student's grade. We're going to rethink this since the students are going to be completing all the work online. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all of the larger assessments into this category rather than necessarily doing a marking period exam. All right, so this could include unit tests. It could still include a marking period exam if you do choose to include it, but it also could have unit or large scale projects or other large assignments such as a research paper or something that would take most of the marking period to complete. With larger assessments, we would assume that there are other formative assessments built in throughout the course of the work. So for example, if you're doing a research paper, there should be check-ins throughout the different lessons or different time that they have working on it, so that way they can get credit for going through the process, and then this would be the overall grade for the large assessment for the final product that they create. All right, the naming scheme for these are going to be a little bit different because they're going to take place over the course of the whole unit potentially. So instead of having a lesson number, there's not really going to be a lesson number that goes along with it. So we're going to call this, like for an example, I have 2-point assess, and then I have Unit 2 assessment name. We're going to just say that we're going to just put whatever unit it is, and then the word assess next to it if it's an assessment, or we're going to put the word create after it if it's something that they're going to be creating that's large scale. So that'll still help us keep it somewhat organized because Schoology will still try to keep the alphanumeric order, which will keep all of the Unit 2 stuff together in this case, and it'll make it easier when we transfer courses from year to year when we're trying to set due dates and make it active for the students. And then finally, the last category that we're looking at is the Classwork/Homework category. This is 10% of the student's grade, and this is going to be used solely for attendance check-ins in the C3 program. These are going to just be quick questions that are used in assessments in Schoology. We recommend that you use multiple choice questions so Schoology auto grades it, and then you don't have to actually go in and do any grading for these check-ins. All right. The sole purpose of this is going to be to give students credit for doing the work and getting credit for attendance, and then it's also going to hopefully be a little grade booster that'll kind of replicate the participation and things that students get for completing work in the traditional classroom. And then as an example, I put 1.1 attendance check-in number 1, and then in brackets I put week 1 with a little asterisk. All right, so the label of this is kind of long, but ultimately this just means this check-in is taking place in Unit 1, Lesson 1. It's clearly marked as an attendance check-in, and then I just put week 1 in brackets so that way it's easy for you as the teacher to tell, all right, this is the week that I'm supposed to be keeping track of for that one. And then these should just be quick assessments, just as a quick check to see if the student's progressing. And then I just put for 1 minute. It would take the student approximately 1 minute to get this task done. All right, so this basically walks you through the guidelines for actually creating and how to categorize those different types of graded work. And if you have any questions about this, please reach out to your principal or to the instructional technology specialist that will be helping you build these things.